Hello again, it's Donna. We're back in the kitchen, and I have something that I'd like to talk to you about today, and that's the idea of change. As you guys know, my family suffered a loss over the holidays, and as a result, there's inevitable change. Life structure has changed, relationships have changed, dynamics have changed, and they're going to continue to change. This is something that you have to go through. But it has me thinking. I've been thinking a lot about change in general, and what is that? You know, what do we know? What is even the definition of change? And what I've found is that change simply means the act of becoming different. We are definitely all becoming different. Change is something that is happening to us and around us every day, every moment of every day. There are some things that we have control over and some things that we don't. But it is inevitable that change is going to happen. Some things are big, some things are small, some things are instant, some things take decades. One of the things that I hear most from people whenever we talk about change is, I don't like change. Why is that? What is our discomfort with change? You know, as I started out, I mean, this particular situation is horrific, painful, unavoidable. So what is it about change that upsets us so much? And the thing that I came up with is fear. Fear of pain, fear of the unknown, fear of losing something, someone, a way of life, an idea, power, control. But why do we resist? I find that for the most part, our brains are just wired to follow structure. We like when things are status quo. We like to go through the motions. I mean, if you just think back on your day to day, I bet you're going to find some patterns. How you make your coffee in the morning, if you drink coffee. How you get dressed, what your routines are as far as how you get ready to go out into the world. What you do on your day off, how you go about preparing a meal, the places you go out, the route you take to get there. So we really are creatures of habit. We like for things to repeat a pattern. And when that pattern is broken, it leaves us searching for, almost panicky about, what do we do now? Well, what's next? Or what's going to happen? You know, and so there's this fear of the unknown. So these things are real. Sometimes fear can keep us stranded, trapped in a bad environment, a bad relationship, abuse, a toxic job, a toxic friendship. When there's a lot of things there we have control over. Things that we can change, things that we can do, things that we can change about ourselves. I've thought a lot back on my own life in big events, big changes. This situation with my nephews is a reminder to me of my own childhood. And when I was around 10 years old, my father was in a horrific accident that left him paralyzed from the neck down for the rest of his life. As you can imagine, that was instant change. It was horrific. It was devastating, not only to him and my mother and to us, but to our way of life, our livelihood, the whole structure fell apart. And it would be really easy to have a point of view, to look at this situation and take control of myself here and say, there were times when I did look at the why. Why me? Why is this happening to me? This is unfair. Poor me. Because that was a hard childhood. No bones about it. That was hard. What I learned was that there were changes that came about in my life as a result of this tragedy that allowed me the opportunity to decide for myself who I wanted to be. I know without a doubt if I had stayed on that old path, I would have made different choices. I would have had different opportunities. My point of view in the world and who I was already going in a direction that now I look back on and cringe. I wouldn't want to be that person. So as much as I would like to change that event, to erase that tragedy, the point of view I have to have now is, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to take control of this situation to be the best me that I can be? I can sit back and poor me and make excuses for bad behavior, bad decisions, hurting other people, not taking responsibility for myself, or I can ask myself, how can I make my life better? These are the things that I had no control over. I couldn't have stopped this tragedy from happening. I was a kid. Choices were not on the table for me. But how can I take this situation and the opportunities that I do have and make my life better? I can't go back. I can't stop this change from happening, but I can impact the change forward. So I think our point of view plays a huge part in what change means to us. If it's simply something happening to us, terrifying. But if we can find ownership, if we can find a way to take charge of the things we can control, make the right decisions for ourselves, then there's room for hope. There's room for growth. John C. Maxwell has a quote that says, "Change is inevitable. Growth is optional." And I think that that rings true for almost every situation I can think of. Not all change is negative. Not all change is seen as a tragedy. You may have gotten a job promotion. You have to relocate and travel across the country and leave your friends and family behind. Sell the home that you love. Leave an area that you grew up in that you know that you thought you'd spend the rest of your life in. It's a great change, but it still comes with discomfort, sadness, struggle. And we can carry that forward and not accept the new place, and we can be miserable in our new job, and we can refuse to make new friends, and focusing only on those people that we left behind. And we can choose the poor me. Or we can choose to embrace the difference. We can choose to step up to the challenge. What can I learn here? What kind of things can we do here that we didn't have before? What new friends are out there? What do they do? What are they going to be like? What joy are they going to bring to our life? How are we going to be better? We mentioned that fear of the unknown, that fear of pain, that lack of self-confidence. Maybe our fear is in our own ability or what we bring to the table. It's that self-esteem, that self-doubt, the inner struggle. But Seneca says, he's one of our old philosophers, by the way, says that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. This comes back to that point of view again. Am I going to be the poor me? Or am I going to say, how can I make my life better? This is a difficult one for me because it isn't just about me. And to see my family suffering and struggling. So the question is, what do I have control over? What can I do? I can't bring this person back. I can't undo what has been done. But I can show up. I can be a positive influence. I can be a mentor. I can listen. I can play. I can be there. I can be a better me for them. So, change is hard. Change is scary. It's something we have to do. What are we going to make of it? What do I want to pursue in change? Pursue change. Rock the boat. I want to allow change in my life. I want to embrace how it changes me. And I say that knowing that there are some things lining up right now in my personal life that tell me change is coming. And it's going to be uncomfortable, even though I believe it will be good. In the end, it will be good. But it's scary. I admit it, it's scary. I find myself kind of just taking a deep breath in and wondering what's going to happen next, but that's the thing. I want to know what's going to happen next. Because without the change, there's stagnation. There's emotional death. We have to change. We have to continue to evolve as people and circumstance and let our lives unfold. That's the point. I want to embrace that hope. So instead of thinking worst case scenario, envision that outcome that you want to see. Envision, see yourself at the end of that journey, after you've gone through the struggle, after you've rebuilt, after you've made the new friends, after you've found your footing, you're comfortable, you know where you're going. What do you want that to look like? Embrace that, envision it. Look for the changes to come and how you can be better, instead of looking at what you have to lose. Sometimes we can't change the circumstance, but we can change how we respond to it. We can change, we can control who we become because of it. So what's your view on change? Are you one of the many of us who doesn't like change? Doesn't like to have the status quo disrupted? Prefer to stay in your lane and that comfort zone of routine? Or do you embrace challenge? Do you look for the next thing? Are you always shaking things up? What does it mean to you? How do you get to that point of view? Or how do you get out of it? We're all changing. every day, seasons, weather, relationships, health, wealth, all the things. It's always changing. Who are you going to be because of it, in spite of it? So, there's your glimpse into my head for this week. I don't know where this is going, but I'm willing to go. Thank you for listening this week. I look forward to hearing what you have to say, what your experience has been, the things that help you, what your point of view is on change. But thank you for being here. Have a good week.